It's not telepathy, it's telepathology. What's easy to confuse with mind reading and allows people to see tissue damage from a distance? Telepathology. That's when pathologists or scientists who analyze disease damage and causes of death share images electronically and discuss virtually about what they see. It has enabled Joy Gary, a CDC pathologist, and her colleagues to collaborate without spending time together in a small room where they can't stay 6 feet apart. The room that they usually worked in has a big microscope that several people can use at once, with a different eyepiece for each person. Joy says, before COVID-19 and teleworking every day, we would sit in the room with all of the pathologists to look at our specimens. With 3 people in the room, we could still socially distance. But on a normal day, we had 5 to 6 pathologists plus epidemiologists. And sometimes fellows or staff wanted to see what we were doing as well, and we would all typically cram into that room. Telepathology can be as simple as emailing a photo and talking about it over the phone, and pathologists can do that from home. Joy comments, we've got a slide scanner that makes a digital image of a glass microscope slide. You can zoom in and out of the image on your computer, and you can share it. Joy leads the e-pathology at CDC's Infectious Disease Pathology Branch, or the IDPB. IDPB has used telepathology before, especially when working with overseas partners. That included a collaboration to study external icon causes of death in young children in areas where the child mortality is high. But when COVID-19 struck and Joy and her colleagues started working telework, telepathology at CDC got a big push. And a camera that was embedded in that big microscope expanded the possibilities. Joy comments, we had been talking for years about how we wanted to use that camera more. There were things we found cumbersome about it, but in the pandemic, we just worked them out. Now, when we're collaborating with another group here at the CDC, we can show them what we have under the microscope just through the internet. It has also made our communication here and with partners a lot faster, Joy says. Telepathology not only decreases exposure to COVID-19, but also to motion sickness. Looking in person through the big microscope's eyepieces while someone else moves the slide around under the optic makes some people seasick. But while looking at images on a screen, probably won't. When Joy and her colleagues became part of CDC's response to the COVID-19 pandemic, they had a head start thanks to other CDC researchers' previous experience with SARS, severe acute respiratory syndrome. The lung damage done by both diseases is similar, and the methods that those scientists developed to view SARS tissue damage also worked for COVID-19 too. On the slides of autopsied lung tissue, you can see damaged tissue and other tissue that's been healing. With the help of colored tagging molecules, you can also see virus chunks called antigens. In addition, viral tests identified genetic material, or RNA, from the virus that causes COVID-19. Over time, Joy and her colleagues established visible patterns, especially in lung tissue damage and inflammation within the trachea. This helped them recognize COVID-19 as a cause of death. CDC pathologists could also clearly see that the link between underlying health conditions like diabetes, obesity, or heart disease and deaths from COVID-19. But the disease has thrown pathologists many curves. Joy says that overall, this is a strange virus. It doesn't follow a lot of the patterns that we would typically expect. There are cases where we say that this doesn't look like COVID-19, but then the RNA test comes back positive, and that surprises us. The RNA tests are checking for the presence of genetic material of the virus. Pathologists are also still trying to understand if or how the virus affects tissue other than lung tissue, like maybe that of the heart. By searching for clues of the virus's presence in these places, some damage might also come not directly from the virus, but from immune reactions or from blood clots the virus causes elsewhere in the body. For example, multi-inflammatory syndrome in children, or MIS-C, is associated with COVID-19. But we do not yet know what causes the MIS-C, the virus itself, immune reactions, or both, Joy says. MIS-C is a rare but serious complication associated with COVID-19 in children where different body parts can become inflamed. Joy's home office is less cramped than the microscope room, but it can still get a little full. She shares it with her husband, who can get into loud conference calls just a few feet away for his own job. Occasionally, their small children will also join them. And during telepathology meetings, the children sometimes wander onto her video calls. Joy says, "My children always want me to stop working and play with them. My son likes to point to the screen and say, 'Who's that? Who's that?' And he just is trying to meet everybody on the phone calls."